Is Ghost better than WordPress? Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from mindfulmarketplace.com. And this morning I had a conversation with a aspiring author, someone who's going to be writing books in the mindfulness space. So it's someone that we were excited to talk to about helping her with her publishing platform. And she happens to already own a small community of other yogis and teachers and basically yoga-oriented entrepreneurs in her particular city. And we were talking about whether or not WordPress or Ghost would be a better option for her. Actually, the truth is she wanted to know. Uh, she was looking at some other options like Squarespace, Tumblr, things like that as well. And I, you know, want to share with you why I recommend Ghost as or let's say it this way, when I would recommend Ghost over something like WordPress for a new blog. All right, so I'm in a fairly unique position to be able to advise on this because we run a lot of WordPress-oriented sites, so I already have a fair amount of expertise with WordPress, and we're building our community on both WordPress and Ghost. And I'm going to show you the use case for each. So essentially, in a very simplified way, here's the back end of our Mindful Marketplace WordPress installation. And here's the back end of our, that's kind of a hybrid view, but this is the back end of our Ghost installation with the front end here as well. So you can actually see the front end of this site here. And all this really is, it's community.mindfulmarketplace.com. And essentially, this is a really emerging piece of our platform right now where we're building a multi-author directory style approach for content, right? So for folks in our community who want to write articles and share content in the mindfulness or entrepreneurial spaces, right? So people who want to write books, teach courses, do events, they can submit content to our platform on Ghost in a really super simplified way. So if you're building a multi-author, loosely, I'm going to say vendor. Ghost has some issues there that I'm going to cover elsewhere, but you can make a marketplace style setup using Ghost, and the multi-author sort of inherent ability that it gives you. I'm going to cover that elsewhere so I don't get kind of, sort of moved off course here. But if that's your goal, I would certainly recommend Ghost over something like WordPress. Right? So to do the same thing on WordPress is really a pain in the ass. I mean, it's challenging, it's difficult. You need all these plugins. You need the plugins to work well. You have all these login sort of issues when you're inviting members to submit content. There are some themes that do this well. It's just not. It's not seamless, right? So here's our the storefront that we're using on WordPress for our Mindful Marketplace community. This is WooCommerce powered. And essentially, it's just where a lot of the videos and things like that are being shared. As you can see, these are like Podia, affiliate products that were recommended. So, that's an affiliate product. So if you click on that, you can see in the browser bar, it goes to Podia. So it's just a video that I did about Podia for our community. And then if people want to sign up, they go to podia.com. You can see it says via Ian in the browser bar, which is my affiliate one. All right, so that sort of setup, is better on WordPress because WooCommerce and that kind of approach just gives you a much better way of promoting products, selling products, et cetera, et cetera. Ghost doesn't have that built in, or at least they don't have that built in quite yet. All right, so let's go and just to end this, I'm going to show you the very specific ways or areas that I think Ghost is ascendant relative to WordPress for authors, teachers, community builders, and new platform publishers who want to monetize their content. So if you're looking to build a community out of your content and turn strangers into subscribers, Ghost is far better, and here's why. In the, nope, wrong place. In the labs integration here, you'll see that right here. You can enable membership, connect to your Stripe API and secret key, set subscription pricing, and then you have a fully featured membership style site for free, right? Because Ghost has this built in. There's no plugins, there's no extra stuff that you need to incorporate. It's all incorporated in the base, Ghost engine, let's call it, for simplicity's sake. So there's nothing that you need to configure other than these toggles. And now this site here is set up to restrict content for either signups or fee-based subscription. So I have a let's see here. So without making this too confusing, essentially, when default uh, default post access is public, which means that in general, the default action is that anyone can read the stuff that we're posting. The second option you have is members only. So folks have to actually log in to your Ghost installation to get access to content. And the third toggle is paid members only. So this would preclude this second tier of people from getting access to that third tertiary content type until they pay, right? With an active Stripe subscription for that content, right? So this makes doing something like setting up a brand on your blog very, very easy. And doing that on WordPress, well, there are plugins that, there's Content Restrict Content Pro. WooCommerce has some plugins. There are other membership scripts. I just find them nightmarish in general to manage, right? Maybe, other people don't. But for me, this really simplifies simplifies the process in a way that WordPress simply can't. All right, so let's go back and show you one other thing. You can also do the same thing with a newsletter subscription, right? So now all of a sudden you can build your list using using Ghost, right? So you can, without any other sort of configurations or plugins or settings, you can literally be sending out your content like in a Substack sort of way, right? So you can build a newsletter, a paid newsletter subscription model using Ghost, really through this simple little interface that we're looking at. All these little labs features handle all this cool stuff that you can do, that WordPress. Let's see if I can find. I still have that available. I don't. Here, let's just go back really quickly. When you contrast the back end here, it's just much more difficult. So the e-commerce, that's not fair. It's not difficult. It's more complicated. It's more complex. It has more moving parts and pieces, and it's just not as elegant, easy, and really I would even argue beautiful, right? So Ghost has a really elegant back end that I find really easy to use and enjoyable to use. Whereas WooCommerce, you're sort of slogging through all this shit just to kind of get, what you want set up the way you want it. Now, there are other considerations that may, bias you towards a WooCommerce, platform. Or I'm sorry, a WordPress-based platform, such as if you want to sell products with something like WooCommerce. Yeah, I mean, in that case, going with WordPress might make more sense for you. But in general, I can't highly recommend enough considering using the Ghost platform, especially if you want to have multiple authors on your community, or you want to charge for your content, or you want to build a newsletter and community that is really, really super simplified and can be done in 60 minutes. You can have the whole thing up and running, including installing your theme, configuring all the stuff, and it's built in to the platform. There's no extra fees, no extra, moving parts or pieces or plugins or mess or stress or muss or fuss. It's just really, really easy. And to me, especially these days, that's super duper important. All right, so I hope that's been helpful. If you need help with your own Ghost installation, send us, or with your own Ghost platform, send us an email, hi@mindfulmarketplace.com, and I'm happy to jump on the phone with you and guide you through a set of heuristics for understanding whether this is the right approach for you or not. Okay, thanks so much for listening, and have a wonderful day.